Dr. Adam. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very well. So good to see you finally. I've heard a
Yes.
lot about you. I've read a lot about you.
Thank you. Yeah, I do quite a bit of different things.
No, in fact, Aditya, my colleague, had actually mentioned about you to me, and then I followed you on LinkedIn, so I kept following a lot of your posts. I think I actually stalked you in a way.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for all your support. Absolutely.
Thanks for taking your time out, and I'm really eager to this conversation. Aditya must have mentioned to you we do a series called the Pet Talks,
Okay.
where we bring in people from the industry, not necessarily from India, anywhere in the world whom we can learn something from. And for obvious reasons, we wanted to have this chat with you to see what all we can learn from you and the information that we can give for people here through you. Uh,
Sure.
yeah. So before that, I think something caught my attention in the background, which is a picture of your dogs.
Oh,
Yeah.
my babies. I love them. Yes. I'm missing one of them actually up in there too. So the one picture right up there, that was my dog when I was in vet school.
Okay.
So yeah, and then there's a beagle over there too. He passed away. But then I have, oh yeah, no, thank you. And I have 4 dachshunds. So
I heard about them.
yes,
So
I'm not surprised.
I know that you're a proud father of the 4 of them.
Yes, I love them so much. Yes.
So great. So introducing myself, I'm Shruti. I run a pet company in India.
Mhm.
It's called FLOAP, FLOAP, which is an acronym for Love of All Pets.
Okay.
And we're just a year old, year and a half old. We're still taking our baby steps in the industry in India. But along the way, I mean, it's been a great journey in the sense that we're getting to learn a lot from people in the US and other parts of the world. As an industry in India, we're growing pretty fast. And there are a lot of things to do in the industry. I think we take inspiration from the other regions because you've already progressed quite a bit in that sense. So what we do at our company is we're building a tech platform which is aimed to be the one-stop solution for all kinds of services, all kinds of product supplies, and veterinary care. I mean, pet health care. Yeah. So it's more of a curated platform with different services.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I know a lot about you, but I think I'll be happy for you to introduce more about what you do. And
Yeah. So I've been practicing. I've been in this business since I was a kid. So since I was 14 years old, I was involved in the veterinary medicine. So I never veered off. I always wanted to be a veterinarian, and I love it. And so I was practicing for about 17 years, and then throughout that journey, I got my master's, my MBA degree, and then let's see, I work right now. I'm on the board for, so there's the American Veterinary Medical Association. And so I'm on the board for a New Jersey Veterinary Medical Association, which is cool. I'm the treasurer. So I deal a little bit with organized medicine. And then I also deal with some of the multimedia platforms. So I did some shelter medicine work, relief work. And then I do some videos of dogs that need homes, educational videos. And it rolled into this newer position where they sought me out to work for a veterinary multimedia company that oversees something such as DVM 360. There's something called Fetch conferences. We partner with other conferences, Clinicians Brief, vet shows, North American vet conferences. So, and so I have like my own talk show and so many different things. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I still get to practice. So I practice on the weekends, but yeah, I love it.
And I also know that you love working out. You like staying fit.
My number one passion is like staying fit. And in veterinary medicine, there's really important about, I'm sure you know, about like self-care and work-life balance and all those things. And yeah, so working out is my favorite thing. I absolutely love it. I have a husband, Chris. We've been together for 17 years and we got married 3 years ago. And so he works for a life insurance company. And then, it's so funny how like we ended up having dachshunds. I remember being on my rotation in vet school in neurology, and I just was really drawn to I love neurology. And so dealing with dogs with rehabilitation, and it tends to be like these long back dogs because they tend to have problems. So I remember saying like, I think our paths are going to cross. I love this breed so much. And then when I started practicing, it ended up being where, one after the other after the other. So,
I'm sure. I think that's what they do to us, right? You bring
yeah,
the pet home, and then you just don't know how the journey moves forward.
right. Yes. I foster, and then like we end up owning them.
Right, right. So, I mean, it's been pretty similar for me as well. I brought home a golden retriever about a few years ago, about 4 years ago, and and then that's when I experienced the industry as a pet parent and realized that there's so much of a disconnect in terms of information and in terms of curated information. We have excess information, but it's not curated, right? And every step there is a challenge in terms of finding the right boarding center, finding the right vet, getting the right information. So that's how I started my entrepreneurial journey. And I mean, I think I absolutely love it. I'm also taking it the way it comes. And yeah, it's been great.
Are you a veterinarian or no? Are you not? Or
I'm married.
are you a veterinarian? Are you a vet too? Or
I'm
no?
not a vet. No,
Oh,
I'm not a vet. No.
okay, no. Okay.
I'm sorry, I got it wrong. I'm not a vet. I'm a business grad by qualification. And
Okay.
and then I worked across different companies in the marketing and business development space. And now I do what I do.
Yeah, this is great. So did you create Float then? Are you the curator of Float? Wow.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, I wouldn't take the credit all by myself. I have a great team here, which includes Aditya. And we are a group of people, like everybody in the team has been a pet parent themselves or a pet sibling, and they kind of understand what it means to love pets. So running a company in the pet space just becomes easier, and it comes as a very inherited quality.
Yeah, that's good though. Well, I mean, listen, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry too, the pet industry. So, but the fact that you genuinely love the animals and understand that human-animal bond, I mean, that's unparalleled. So that's really good.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I also know that you are on the board of a lot of organizations which do some great animal work.
Yes, I am. So I think that's always good. Like I always love collaborating and helping in any way that I can. So, and like our platform, for instance, on DVM 360 is that go-to source. Like you were just talking about, like good information for veterinarians and veterinary support teams. That DVM 360 is. So that's something that I'm sure that you would want for Float to be your go-to resource for that,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. So have you, let me ask you this. Have you ever explored the Indian pet industry?
I haven't. I've been approached when I was practicing, but I was just too busy. But now that I'm in this role, now I can.
I think we'll keep this. I will keep it secret as a secret between you and me. I don't want to let anybody else know that you are interested in the Indian space.
Yeah, no, I think it's fantastic. I really do. And anything that I can do to help, with the pet parent experience and knowledge, veterinary care, let me know. I'm here for you.
I mean, yes. I mean, there is so much that we need help with. But I think it'll just be a little too much if I ask you all the questions right on our first interactions. I'm going to take it in bits and pieces.
Sure.
But today's conversation, which we are doing right now, is more for me to understand about you, about your your company and your role in the industry.
So the other thing to keep in mind too is I have a lot of connections in the veterinary industry, which is helpful. It really is. So for instance, we needed to put together a very quick conference, a virtual conference, and I did it in a matter of 2 days of just calling some of my friends up and said, hey, I need you to speak here. I need you to do this. And so I do know a lot of people that are influencers, which is good. So, and so we do webinar platforms. I'm familiar with all different types of platforms that are out there in the space. So that helps you, I'm sure, too. And then I teach too. So I teach veterinary technicians and assistants. So I'm all about education and especially the support staff. So hospital managers, customer service training, internal customer service training, and external. So yeah, there's a lot of things that I can always bring to service for you guys. So yeah.
Thank you. That is really kind of you, and it gives me a lot of confidence. Just to know that you're there for any information that we need. Thank you for that. So, I know you've been doing a lot of shows around COVID and how this is affecting the pet industry and how pets are being abandoned. I mean, just recently we saw 2 cats which were tested positive.
Right.
And even in India, we've been seeing a lot of cases where people just abandon dogs. And a lot of great organizations and rescuers have come together to make sure that they protect all these abandoned pets. I mean, there's a lot of work that's going on, right? And like I truly believe, irrespective of what the crisis is, I think animals and pets are one space which really does not seem to get affected in any way because they're as good as our babies. Yeah.
Right.
So has that been the situation in the US as well, and how are you all dealing with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that just came out a couple weeks ago, where there was a tiger that tested positive in one of the zoos, and so that kind of triggered this little panic mode, knowing that okay, we already know that cats were a little sensitive to coronavirus, but now that we know that they can probably come down with COVID-19. So there was a little bit of fear, but what we did is we reacted right away with the AVMA by putting out some information and research, knowing that this isn't something that we can get from the animals, especially for cats. It's something that we potentially could give to cat parents. So if we have a COVID positive pet parent, we just need to use their due diligence and educate them that maybe having somebody else in the household to help clean their litter boxes and practice a little bit of pet distancing. It's not easy to do when you love them so much. So there is that component, so education. And then the second component was like the shelter education component. So, that there is no need to drop off animals because they felt that they were going to get, COVID-19. So there's been a lot of initiatives and campaigns from either rescue organizations as well as some the ASPCAs and all those things, nonprofits, just educating owners that no, you're not going to get them. Keep them home, please. Keep the animals home. And in fact, it actually did a 180 where this event is going to be called something as like the Great Pause, because of it's a time of reflection. But we're actually using in the veterinary term as like the Great Pause, leaning your paw, because because so many animals are actually getting adopted now because people are home and they are rescuing and they're fostering. And there's many shelters now that actually have no animals, which is incredible because they've been getting adopted. So
we see 2 different kinds of people, right? One who are at home and who want to spend more time with pets, so they adopt, and the others who are just scared and abandon pets. So, I mean, in India, I'm honestly not sure how many people are actually adopting dogs at this point. We see more existing pet parents spend more time and spend a stronger bond with their pets now, and who've truly experienced what it means to spend more time with pets. I think that's going to change the dynamics pet parents have with their pets in India. But sadly, we see a lot more cases where dogs being abandoned has just become way too common.
Is there, do a lot of people in India, do they value the human-animal bond as much as we do in the United States? Is it strong, like with dogs and cats, or is it more dogs, or?
It is getting very strong over the last couple of years. I would say, things have really changed in the last 5 to 10 years. So prior to that, it used to be more of animals. I mean, dogs particularly just looked at as security guards for the houses. But now, with the millennials taking over as the majority generation, I think we're more attached to animals, right? And between dogs and cats, I would definitely say it's, majority is dogs. Cats, there are communities in India which don't really relate much to cats. So that's taking a little more longer to change as a community. Also that, I'm sure you know that India is highly populated. So, it's been about a decade or two that, people are moving towards single kid families, moving towards nuclear families, unlike before where there used to be 2-3 kids per house. Um, so because of which, the only way to keep the kids company, or probably one of the fewer ways, is to have a pet at home. So we see more people adopting pets for that reason as well. Um, and it's not very surprising that people of our generation, there are a good number of them who say, okay, I don't think I'm going to have kids, I'm comfortable with my for kids, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so it's pretty surprising that a lot of people are moving in that direction, but I'm also happy that India is moving in that direction. I think it's too early to compare India with the US in that sense, because we're getting there, but it's taking longer than the US.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Because that's something that I would love to do with you at some point down the road, is do like a little 10-minute interview about what we just talked about, actually, because I think that would be so informative to some of the viewers on our platform, DVM 360. We have 1.2 million viewers that tune in. So, that would be, yeah, that would be good. And that's how you like build a relationship too, right? So
I would
yeah.
love to talk about it. In fact, I think it's important because one of my constant efforts have been to change the perspective of Indian pet industry, uh, vis-a-vis the global pet industry. Because a lot of people look at India, they know it's the fastest growing. They know that the pet population is really, really large and it's growing in numbers. But they also know that it's very unstructured, and they think that, India has still not gotten there. While I agree that, like I said, we cannot compare ourselves with the US and say we are up there yet. But all I say is we can get there, taken the right approach, and if we take the right direction. And that's where we seek support from companies in the US and UK for us to get there. Like a simple example, right? We've been working with about 19 different categories of pet services in India, which includes the major ones like boarding, nutrition. By the way, I know nutrition is your interest.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we work with nutritionists, we work with boarding centers, grooming centers, so on and so forth. There are 19 different services that are available in India. But the irony is there is no certification for any of these. Yeah. So, through Flow, I think as a company, we've taken a few steps behind where we started, for that reason, that for me to work as an aggregator between good pet services and pet parents, I should be able to endorse the quality that is available right now, or take the quality higher from where it is right now. So so that's where our constant efforts are, and that's an area where we really, really seek support in any way possible.
What are your thoughts? I'm just thinking, brainstorming as you're telling me this, because we do a lot of continuing education platforms on our services. So if there's a way that we can connect you guys to that, so that way, like say you have 19 services that you need certification for, we can help provide you with that platform, essentially, I think. I'm just thinking, right? Like, so that way your veterinarians or whoever, would be interested, we can help kind of get you up to speed with that. Now we have something, and I don't know what it is, and I have to look it up for you for India, because we have something called RACE accreditation. Have you heard of that? Like your continuing education credits?
Yeah.
So I'm sure like your veterinarians and support staff, they probably need something like that, right? Does that sound familiar?
So to be honest, there are two kinds of veterinary doctors in India. One are the government doctors and the private doctors. So I need to do a little bit of research to see whether veterinary doctors are keen on upgrading themselves, or if they're just too comfortable with where they are, right? And I think they also come with a lot of rules and regulations to do with, especially the government doctors. But where whatever you said now definitely makes sense for all the other pet care services, if I may say, minus the healthcare, right? Which includes dog walking, pet sitting, grooming, nutrition. I can send you the list.
Yeah. Send me the list so that way I have an idea. And then what do you expect to get out of those services then when you have those listed? What's the expectations?
So the expectation is that, we're trying to create employment and entrepreneurial opportunities for people in India, because we have good number of pet parents who really, really don't mind spending on good pet care services. Because like I said, we're moving towards a time when they treat pets no different from kids. Yeah. So there is a spending capacity among people, but there is not enough service which is actually worth the money they're willing to spend, right? So the ultimate objective is to increase the supply of pet care through Float. Eventually, they can, I'm not sure how the platform that you said works, but eventually, if they can be certified by your platform and Float as a joint collaboration, and if anybody is looking for pet care services, we could be like the one-stop platform which people could just consider for any of the services they require.
If there's a way you can maybe write that up for me so I have an idea. Yeah, that would be great. So like a little bit of information about like Float and what you're just talking about, because I can do some research on my end to see what we can do collaboratively to help get you where you need to be.
Absolutely. I'll do that. I can give all the information that you require.
Okay, cool. That would be good. Because I'm thinking like if we could provide it on our end and it just makes it easier for you, where we provide a course, let's just say, and whether it be like a 1 hour course where they can get a certificate right afterwards, that would be neat. That would be cool.
Yep.
So, okay, cool.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm also interested in the conference that you spoke about, and I'll be happy to be a part of your show and talk about the Indian pet industry and give all the statistics, which could be interesting for your viewers.
Yes. Definitely.
I'm going to put it back to you and say, how can I help you? Is there any way I can help you from India? I've been seeking help, but I think it's time I give something in return.
No, absolutely. Well, I think having, so we have that website, the DVM 360. So we do these interviews every now and then. And it's just like 10-minute interviews, just like this, literally like a Zoom interview. And then we put it up on DVM 360. So that would be fun to do, just to kind of educate the public. And then we do have webinars that we provide too. So, I'm always looking for speakers, that are veterinarians that might be interested in providing some education talks on it. So there's that component. But yeah, I mean, maybe an education library is what we might be able to consider to work together on. I just have to talk to my company and see what we can do for you guys.
Absolutely. I'll be interested in any way. You'll hardly see me say, no, I don't think this was going to work, because in India, we're at a stage where we're exploring and discovering a lot of opportunities which have not been there so far, which is why the journey is so exciting for us. Yeah. So when I visited US last year, I was there for about a month, and it's just amazing to see how pets are treated there and the quality of pet care that's available. And the only question I had is, in India, we're no different in terms of the thought process anymore. What stops us from having that kind of a quality, right? So that's where I think we can play. We can have a great collaboration in that sense.
Yeah. And just even, you can interview me and we can talk about the pet parent experience and what we're doing in our country that shows appreciation and like how strong the human-animal bond is. I mean, listen, there are classes on the human-animal bond. So, just educating, the public about that too, and just making them aware. And then also talking about preventive medicine, about spaying and neutering, and the importance of overpopulation in animals. So, there's that too. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
So put together something for me so that I have, something I can, look at and read. Do you have I think you have my email address, right? I think you do.
So I remember we connected on LinkedIn, but I'm really not sure if I took your email ID. I can make a note of it now.
Okay. Are you ready? Get ready for this. So it's literally the first letter of my name. So it's A Christman. So A. And
right.
And at MJH Life Sciences, it's all together, .com. So MJH Life Sciences.
Sure.
And that's our website too. Like if you do a search, you can look it up too and see that we have, there's a human division that we have, and then we have a veterinary division. And so we're the number one multimedia medical division in the country, which is nice. So it's like, yeah, it's really popular. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you have a couple of minutes more, maybe about 5 minutes, just to do a bit of interaction about how you think the pet parenting is different in the US and in India? And if you could list down the top 3 factors of what could bring the difference in any industry, either the Indian pet industry or anywhere else in the world, what are the top factors that could play a major role?
Well, I think it's the perception of the human-animal bond. So, we consider them our children. 87% of the United States thinks that our dogs and our cats are our babies, So with that being said, we do anything for them. So we anthropomorphize them very well. So we feel what they go through, so we understand, and they give that unconditional love back. So I think understanding and recognizing how strong that bond is something that, and it's an unspoken bond is what's always taught about it, So that's one thing. And then the veterinary care, providing good medicine, preventative care, vaccinations, making sure that they're spayed and neutered, and then they're on good preventatives, if they're deworming, flea and tick preventatives. I don't know if heartworm is out there in India, but heartworm disease. So making sure that they're real taken care of in terms of infectious disease standpoint and zoonotic diseases. So that's always important to have. And then, I think just making sure that you give them that unconditional love that they need. So they don't belong in the backyard. They don't live in a dog house, and cats don't live outside. They belong inside, and maybe in either your bed or in a crate, but making sure that they have like toys and blankets and proper nutrition and feeding them appropriately and understanding their wants and their needs too. So, and it's basic things of life too, like fresh water and being able to go for walks and being trained properly too, making sure that they have a trainer and know that the basic commands, so that they're not aggressive and they're good with children and other dogs, and they're just overall really good animals. So no, I mean, I think why we love them so much is because they can't talk and they can't speak back for us, so we don't know what's going on. So we some of us have emotional issues, or we have our own health problems, and they help us with so many things. Look what they do for service dogs and the seeing eye, and there's police dogs. So there is an incredible amount of work that animals give to us, and so I just think it's something that we owe it back to them, to give them the kindness and respect back to them.
Absolutely. So, so sometimes I just look at my parents and I'm like, I regret that I did not grow up with a pet, because now that we have one, I know how it feels. And looking back, it just feels like, you lost so many years of your life without having a pet. Like, it's a real loss.
It teaches you how to be selfless. It really does. And it teaches you how to be a great human being and being kind to one another. And those of you that have children that grow up with animals, it makes them also respect and learn to love, and the circle of life. Like, yes, they are going to die. Animals are going to die. And you're going to have to come to that moment of putting them to sleep. And it's terrible, but it's a life lesson that you learn to grow and respect how precious life is on both the human side and on the animal side.
Right. So Adam, how do you think you've gotten so close to animals? Like, does it come from your parents? Have you always had a pet, or was it like a change at some point in life?
Yeah, I grew up with that, and I didn't grow up with a lot. Like, I didn't grow up on a farm. I just had one dog, and I remember my mom was telling me too, she was an animal lover growing up too. So I wonder if there's like a genetic component that's there too, that teaches you to be kind to them. But I grew up and I just felt so incredibly connected to animals. And, I had an incredible childhood. I mean, everything you can ask for, it was great. It's just, I felt that super bond to giving back to animals. I started my own dog walking business when I was in 5th grade. I walked dogs around the neighborhood, and I got to understand their behaviors and, you know, just the basic needs. It taught me to be responsible at a young age, you know, cleaning up after them. And then I started doing some bathing for them. So yeah, it started at a young age, and then I started to shadow a veterinarian, and I wanted to see what it was like working in a vet hospital. And when I did, I knew right away, I said, this is where I belong, you know? So, and I give that back as a veterinarian that's been in the field. I see so many children that want to be veterinarians, and I never say no to them. They're always welcome to see it, because you could just tell in their face, like, they may not be a veterinarian, but they'll at least learn to be kind to animals. So I do I do like school days and career days, all those things, just to teach them that.
Absolutely. I think we always pay forward. That's what we can do.
That's what I love about this profession. It's an incredible profession full of compassion and heart. You know, I can't say that about other professions, but I know to be a veterinarian, it's a calling from here. You know, you feel it. It's a feeling. And so when we're surrounded by a community that helps support each other, because we go through highs and lows throughout the day of seeing like cute puppies and kittens and then dealing with end of life care. So being surrounded by a network of veterinarians that understand each other and support staff, it really does help.
Do you have that one moment in your career which kind of remains a memory for life?
I think when I had to put my own dog as a kid to sleep, that definitely stuck with me. And I was in 7th grade, and I had to say goodbye to him. And I remember saying, like, I can't believe how hard this is, but I definitely want to be there as a veterinarian to do end of life care, because it's such a respectful thing. And as a young kid, it was hard. My parents were so shocked that like I understood it so quickly, but I respected the like animal life, and that stuck with me. And I said, no, I think I have what it takes, because not everybody can do it. Not everybody can put animals to sleep, and you have to do it. It's part of your job. It's tough. And so, but I said, I think I can do this, you know, so.
Yeah. I think that's the difference between vets and any other doctors. You're taking so much responsibility of the voiceless out there, and, you know, you're kind of deciding for them. You just read what is going on with them.
You know, and the veterinary profession, we do it all under one roof. We do surgery, we do pharmacy, we do radiology and customer service. And when I hire veterinary team members, you know, and I never want them to say, well, I want to be in this profession because I hate people. Well, no, that doesn't, you know, it's completely, you know, pet parent driven. So you have to like both. You got to love animals. You got to love people. You have to have that communication skills, and bedside manner is so important. So, yeah, we do it all. That's what's so unique about this profession.
Yeah, I'm sure pet parents react very differently from human parents, human kid parents.
Yes. I always consider myself a pediatrician. So you really are. You're a pediatrician for these guys. And the younger generation of pet owners in the United States, they're very obsessed. The pendulum has shifted, just like we were talking about. It used to be, let's get married, let's have kids, let's have a dog. It's the reverse. It's let's have a dog, maybe we'll get married. Maybe we'll have a kid.
In fact, I should add on to this. My boy Charlie does not seem to like kids. He just does not like kids. So both me and my husband, we're like, maybe we can't have kids because he does not like them.
Right. Yes. It's so funny. But, you know, regardless of culture, regardless of where you live, China, India, Japan, Russia, United States, animals are animals, and they will love you unconditionally. They don't care your color, who you love, right? They don't care what you love, who you love. They just have that unconditional love that's unspoken. And so I think that's what we as the world can bring to the table, because it's an unbelievable, it makes you a better human being, and being understanding of each other's race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, whatever it is, because animals don't care. They just want to be loved, you know?
I think in the entire conversation, what you said just now is going to be the highlight of the conversation. And I'm going to carry that forward and use that as part of my, talk with anybody else.
Yes, awesome.
Makes so much sense.
Yes, it really does. It really does.
Thanks for your time, Adam. Thank you so much for taking your time out. I know you've been very busy, but I just hope this calls for a great collaboration together.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I
Let's
want you
keep
to know
confident.
and remember that in India, we really look up to people like you and anybody in the US to support us to get to that standard, right? We can get there for sure.
Well,
It's just that
I'll be happy to help you guys out.
absolutely. We just need the right set of people and guidance for us to be able to get there. And before we end the conversation, I'm not going to let you go without showing me your kid's photo, which is right behind.
Oh yeah. Wait, I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you one of them. Hold on 1 second. I got to bring it to you. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Which one should I bring? Which one shall I bring? I have 4 of them. I have 4 babies. I'm here. I'll bring these 2. Oh, I'm here. I got both of them. Hold on. So I have 2 I'm bringing now. 2 of the 4.
I don't think I was this excited to see you. I was so excited to see them.
Yeah. Here they are. So aren't they beautiful?
They
So,
are. Oh,
this
look
is
at them.
Carl.
I'm sorry, this is?
This one's Carl, the blonde one.
Carl.
And then this is Clark.
Clark.
Clark. Yeah. So they're wire hair dachshunds. So
They're
let's see.
adorable.
How cute are they? I can't even take it.
Hi, baby.
I love them. They love each other. Yeah.
The
So
little ones don't know how far away I am, yet I'm getting to see them thanks to technology.
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing them.
My pleasure, of course.
Yeah, and my love to the other 2. I haven't forgotten the other 2, but I respect their choice to stay away from you.
Yeah, they're good. They're sleeping away. So yeah.
Take care, Adam. Thank you.
All right,
Stay
thank you so much.
Stay connected.
Yes. Stay in touch. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.